For the first match in the Brawlers Club, in the top right side we have a blue Zerg for Kaisi Gamers. It is Solar. His opponent, a terrifying foe indeed, the red Zerg in the bottom left side, Dragon Phoenix Gamers. Rogue. The good old ZVZ. Wait for someone to go mental and try and just straight up kill their opponent at some point in the game. Usually around the third base timing, right? If things go a bit normal, there will be one person going for the Zergling Swarm and the other one trying to defend against the Zergling Swarm. With both of these players going for hatch first, that's kind of what I'm anticipating here. Nay, easy start. Let's hope for an easy start of this morning anyway. That's the craziest dream as well today. It's pretty wild. It's like a zombie apocalypse, but instead of zombies, they were vampires. Right? Because if you get bit by a vampire, you turn into a vampire, right? But we never really have an apocalypse style movie where instead of zombies, they are actually vampires. The thing with vampires is you can't kill them, so it's extra terrifying. We had to put them in garbage bags and then just keep making them go unconscious somehow. It was quite wild. I woke up quite terrified earlier. That just gave me a bunch of adrenaline to do this StarCraft 2 cast the proper way. That's all it is. Okay, as we can see, Overlords are in position. They want to keep track of that third base timing. For both these players in a pretty good setup. And both of the players going for that third base. Keep that eye on the production tab. Only 2 Zerglings so far. Safety Baneling Nest most likely from Solar. Especially considering that it's at the front there. Gotta be... yeah, we'll be scouted. You know what? Both of them still kind of droning along. They are making some Zerglings here, and also Rogue is getting a Baneling Nest right now. That's about it. They do want to continue onwards towards the macro. And this is the most passive Korean ZVZ I've seen in a while, I have to say. No Roach Warrens whatsoever, just quite yet. Going for the armor upgrade here as well. Might be an indication that he's planning to stick around on the Zergling Baneling composition rather than switching up too quickly to his own Roaches. And there's the +1 missile attack for Rogue, so... okay. Solar still getting his own Roach Warren as well. We're all wrong sometimes, I suppose. But I still imagine he would go more heavily into Zerglings, right, with this upgrade. More scouting happening. The blue Zergling spotting the lair being upgraded. That is very fortunate. Ooh. Queen steps in. Solar. What is he up to? No lair, just quite on the way. And even with that scout not really going for a lair here. Might be the case that he wants to turn up that aggression as much as possible. Kind of punish his opponent for trying to go for anything but a big ball of roaches in the early game here. There's not a lot of gas or such being saved up either. That is sometimes a concern. in this situation in particular, right? If those roaches are walking across the map. It feels like you would be in a lot of trouble if you try to go for something like Mutalisk from this point onwards. I would definitely kill him. Luckily for Rogue, he has his overlords in position as well. That's Zergling kind of scouting around. Looks like he's doing an alright job with it. Now these Banelings, they do actually require 2 of them to kill 1 single Zergling. There are 2 Banelings, so still a scary thing. 21 drones already dead. This is starting to feel like it could be the end. Could it be? Probably. There it is. GG. GG. Alright. Game number 2. Oh boy. Off to a good start. In the bottom left side, there is a man making a spawning pool rather quickly. The blue Zerg from Kaisi Gaming is Solar and Rogue. SDC said I need to be less official in this stream. That's why he kind of mentions. I'm still kind of going around with my own pace. I feel like my casting overall is pretty silly. And again, it might be more silly me saying that than the thing actually being silly. So, hard to judge those things. Anyway, regardless, no... whatchamacallem, Vespene Geysers being taken here for Solar. So most likely will turn into a hatchery after these 6 Zerglings are hatching. So not an immense amount of pressure. Not a fully committed, I need to kill you right now, this second kind of thing, but somewhere in between. We'll have to accomplish some bits of damage here. At least keep those drones from mining for a while. Maybe get a bit of a panic reaction out of Rogue as well. That could be lovely, of course. Force him to make some Banelings. Let's see how he reacts. There are still more Zerglings being made, by the way. That is a lot of Zerglings. He's up to 10 right now. 2 more in production. Maybe he's waiting to see what Rogue will do as a response to decide what he's going to do. No, now we're seeing more drones. Okay. So 10 Zerglings is where he's going to stay. We'll be attempting to break that hatchery as the drones, a bit desperate, back and forth. Chasing Zerglings, probably not the best thing to do with his time. Needs to kill drones or the hatchery. Either one would be lovely. That's a lot of Zerglings already, and, well... where does that leave us? No, that leaves us at Rogue, kind of being in an alright spot here. Might be supply blocked in a little moment. No. No, he's fine. 3 drones. He's on 19 versus 21, but he has got himself the 6 Zerglings. Don't think those will be able to accomplish too much. So both of them droning up. We'll be looking for the 3rd base. I wonder if these overlord positions realize they don't quite have the vision on the hatchery. Could be a new map thing. Solar in a bit of a better spot over here, but depends on where that hatchery is thrown down. Oh, Poach Warren. Might be a 2 base. And Rogue going for that 3rd. He's gonna get a scout though on the Roach Warren here, as long as he clicked on it. If he hadn't, he'll probably send in another Zergling just to make sure he knows what's happening. As that is a lot of Zerglings. Once again, on that production tab, how many larvae do we have? Only 3 as the Roach Warren finishes up, so... that could be a problem. He's just making more Zerglings, actually. Forget the roaches. We made a roach warren, but we don't need that. We just need more Zerglings. Made a little bit of a wall off for himself there as well. I think Solar is just misreading what Rogue is doing, because that wall off right there. Bit of a weird one. Now going for the third base. Rogue fully aware of it. Oh, and now he sees the big ball of Zerglings. Alright. Just had a bit of a scout. Solar tried to hide them, but he tried to hide them all in the same place. It's like when your parents try to hide the Christmas presents, but then they hide them all in your own closet, right? And then it's all of them in the same place. This is a great fight for Rogue. As long as he can keep those Zerglings from fully surrounding him. Which does seem manageable for him at the rate of which his reinforcements is coming in. So these Zerglings truly aren't getting anything done. A bit of a surprise perhaps as well that he tried to take that fight up the ramp here towards the natural base when the third base was still a viable option. Bet he wanted to deliver more so a killing type of blow, but trying to make that happen cost him, well, cost him quite a bit. Now he's not able to make anything happen. Where'd that other Zergling go? Oh, it's still here. Oh. Almost kills the drone. Hand-to-hand combat. A lethal game, even between drones. Grabbing their little pocket knives. And we kind of went back into droning for both these players, didn't we? At a fairly stable work count as well. Army size, quite favoring Solar, so that is mysterious in a way. I guess he did make almost 10 less drones right now, but he's got 9 of them in the production tab, so he's just kind of slightly trailing behind in the economic game. But as we can see, I mean, it's been going back and forth. For him going, having gone spawning pool first, it doesn't seem like it's bothering him too much at this point. Even gonna try to be aggressive yet again with his roaches. Doesn't have the roach speed just quite yet. And look at that, Rogue does. So he's gonna be stuck in this battle right now. Luckily for him, the upgrade advantage hasn't quite kicked in yet for Rogue. But that will be happening in about 30 seconds. Okay, Solar just kind of realizing that this might not be the best fight for him. There's also a Zergling counterattack in his natural base, so sacrifices some of his own Zerglings, some roaches in order to get the rest of the boys away. Now trying to avoid a drone massacre. Only 4 of them go down. So we will have to take another look at that income advantage. For the time being. Still quite a back and forth. Hard to say. Ooh. Rogue comes in with the Overseer. Vomits over the opposing team Evolution Chamber. That's going to delay the +1 ranged weapon attack by quite a bit, actually. I thought that would be almost done, but there's still quite a bit of. As now we got +2 carapace and missile attacks versus just the 1 carapace. And that is when Rogue is going to be hitting right here. That should be a pretty big advantage. But does he have the roach numbers to pull that through? He's got a good concave as well going for him. The biles are landing. Avoids the enemy biles. Oh, he's gonna get him, isn't he? I'm pretty sure he will. A great upgrade advantage is gonna lead him straight into a tied up series right here. 1-1. Well played. neither of which are going for spawning pool first now this time around. So that's nice to see. Just the good old hatchery. Solar was very early with that drone actually, as well. I'm saying actually a lot. But Solar was very early with that drone. I wonder if that is kind of like a response. Or like a new baked-in muscle memory thing where, because of Protoss players, and so, well, Terran don't do it as much, but Protoss players is kind of blocking at hatchery. Trying to get in there a little bit quicker with your drone. Shouldn't be too much of a hassle for Solar. As he said, you think he sensed it earlier, right? With a specific ZVZ purpose in mind. That's probably the question I should be posing here. How likely is it that a proxy hatchery is coming up over here and he's like, oh no, if only I had sent my drone sooner. And I would have gotten that hatchery instead of him. Oh, triple hatch. That is a thing on this map, I suppose. You've got an area where your creep will go to fairly quickly. Rogue. He's going over there. He will try to make sure what is happening in that third base location. He's going to see that hatchery there and have to make a difficult decision whether or not to turn up the aggression in a way or kind of put himself on the back foot by saying, alright, you know what? I'll just let you have the advantage for now. A little bit more eco on your side of the map going on in exchange for, well, not having to get aggressive now. Rogue going for a bit of a third option. Starting up the lair. Could be for... Let's see, he's getting 2 gas right now. I'm trying to keep an eye on his natural as well. We're only on 28 drones. 2 base muta play I don't see happening that quickly here. Just a bit early. As he does seem to be going for the Roach Warren. Roach Warren for solo, not too far off though, behind. There are 2 more gas geysers being taken. Alright, this... +1 ranged weapon. Alright. Infestation pit. Okay. Is he? No. Would he? No. Swarm host? No, I'm being... Well! Midas network? Swarmo is becoming more and more of an idea in my head where the build order of Rogue is pointing towards. Which is not something you see every day in ZVZ. I've seen him do this specific strategy though before in a ZVP. Who was he up against that time? I'm not entirely certain anymore. But what I do remember is that it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. Mostly because he got his Night Swim over here before that player managed to get a third base. Solar, of course, fully prepared for this. Does have that third base. He has an Overseer on the way towards Rogue's base. But before he gets there, he hears the sound of a Night Swim. That's gotta freak you out at least a little bit, right? It's like, what in the what? This isn't supposed to be a thing. Okay, could have gotten a couple more drones there. Decides to try and target down a couple of roaches as well. Doesn't really do too much with it. Oh, more swarm hosts. There they go. In little batches of 4. Or 3. 3. Do go in. Don't do anything. Let the locust die and then go in with another one over here. Could be a bigger wave. If he sends the other... There we go. He's getting the roaches lower on the HP. That's pretty good. But he's spending a lot of resources here overall to try and keep this going with making more and more Nidus worms. Does escape out of there with his swarm host once again. Finally getting some of these roaches. There are 3 of them that die there. And the longer this goes on, I suppose, the better it will be for Rogue. But we'll have to keep it going. And he's going to have to keep this army of Solar on the back foot as well. I think Solar very likely could have just had a couple of roaches here remaining. Right? You don't have to fight this, the Locust all the time. You could just try to kite them away from valuable targets. And then attack with a big ball of roaches because, well, hold on. Hold that thought for a moment. I didn't anticipate this. There is a forest of spine crawlers right here created by Rogue. To be fair, it's only 5 of them that have completed for this moment. There's going to be 9 of them pretty soon. Alright, let's do the hokey pokey. See if that works. A couple of Mutalisks joining in as well. The roaches struggle getting on top of the spine crawlers because there is a full wall off as well. And this is looking like a more and more juicy strategy from Rogue here as time continues. Solo will be attempting towards Lurker technology. Meanwhile, more Nidus worms are trying to make their appearance. Mutalisk will be looking for some victims as well. How many Spore Crawlers are we on for Solar? It's 5 of them. Okay, 5 is pretty good. Pretty good. PvP always confuses me. I know. In they come. Get the queen. He's using the Locust together with the Mutalisk. That's a pretty cool thing here. Have to admit. Is that the first Lurker den? Yeah, it is. Okay. This is becoming a tricky, nasty kind of place for Solar. He is losing resources here over time. And it's lost tab. Still, I mean, gas-wise, relatively close together. Worker count not too far apart. The base count is starting to take a lead for Rogue. But he will have to continue some further aggression such as this to keep that going. The army of Solar is just going to be way better, right? Eventually, the army of Solar is just gonna wipe the floor against Rogue if they ever have a straight up fight. Which is another good question to have. Are they ever gonna have a straight up fight here? I don't think Rogue will ever let that happen. He should be very happy with the situation he's in. Which is his opponent stuck on his own base. Slowly dying. Oh. Splits. Oh, that was pretty sick. That was pretty clean. Parasitic Bomb, not gonna get rid of the Mutalisk flock. Well. It feels kind of sad having 3 Spore Crawlers in the main base and then you realize as the Locust fly in. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That is still gonna go down extremely quickly. And that is a hive that just went down. So any Viper here that gets killed off is going to be gone for an extremely long period of time. So Rogue actually dives a little bit extra on top of those units. Tries to rid the world of those boys, and now this is the moment where Solar will finally put his foot on the gas pedal. Wants to move across the map and actually deliver a decisive blow. He absolutely has to, but once again, look at all those spine crawlers. That is a ridiculous amount of spine crawlers right there. Roaches and Hydras will be able to clean that up eventually, but they're taking one heck of a lot of damage from just the static defenses so far. How will Rogue respond though? He has, well, okay, there it is. There's the response. There's the response. Don't fight the Locust, Solar. Don't do it. GG. GG. The thing is, right, I feel like there's two ways you could try to play against that. One is just accept that you're gonna take damage. And, you know, keep sending your units across the map. Try to keep those units of Rogue on the other side as well. You know, he's gonna have to use those Locusts to defend. Which is, in my mind, the preferred way to defend against this as well. It's a bit trickier to do because you're gonna have to find those moments, right, where the best time for you to start moving across the map and actually force Rogue to move back across the map as well. Seeing that there were those spine crawlers created and such, right, he does still have wiggle room himself to go back and forth. But at least you make things a bit more difficult for him to get those locusts where he would like them to be, right? It becomes less likely that you lose the hive and such, and fourth bases over and over again. The other way to deal with this, which is what we kind of saw from Solar this time, is the way where you keep trying to defend as effectively as you can. Don't take any economic damage. You start building up a ground force that is a much better in a straight up fight than your opponent's ground force, right? Because he has Mutalisk and the Swarm Host. And then eventually, right, once you feel like you're around max supply, or you feel like, okay, this is a big enough force, you start going across the map at that time. You try to win with the one big swing. So yeah. It's such a... It's a difficult situation. And, like, the defending thing isn't easier per se, but at least it's less hectic in a sense, right? It feels more secure, as long as you keep an eye on where those Nidus worms are coming from. And he was doing a really good job for it for a while. He was not losing that much. He lost, like, 3 roaches after the first initial 4 to 5 Swarm Host waves. But then things just took a turn for the worst. More and more locusts showing up. Imagine. The Hero Ling squad. This is just one Ling. This is 50 minerals. Can 50 minerals. Force to cancel. Oh sir, that's the other 50 minerals. Good control though from Rogue. Ooh, ooh. Eh? Right. The fisticuff fights. Attacking into the 10 spine with Locust coming in is just... Yeah, I mean... I can get why he felt like I need to kill him right here and right now after losing the hive. Right, so attacking the main base, it's like... Yeah, okay, that's alright with me. But... Yeah, when the Locust came in... Maybe already at that point he felt like, okay, this is just unwinnable, right? Even maybe before the Locust came in, he already had that kind of feeling. So he just kind of stopped microing at that point. That could be the case as well. And then he was just kind of digesting his loss and thinking about it. Oh, that's a lot of links. Hello. Hello. Where are you boys off to? A whole fanfare of Zerglings. Oh, now it does get scouted, but you don't have a lot of time to prepare anymore when they arrive, you know, after this sentence is finished. There are some banelings here. Could be good. 3 circling sacrificed for that baneling right there. 3 more banelings about to finish up. That's going to help out a ton. Ooh, Nelly. Oh dear. This micro from Rogue is pretty sick now. And again, those circlings are moving absolutely ridiculous out of one another. But that's all he's going to get. That's all he's going to get. And it's not a lot. In fact, he lost quite a bit more than he managed to obtain. So, Solar having a pretty good fight there. Looking at the work account, he didn't really go up all that much. He kind of made a lot of zerglings himself, which makes sense why this defense went so properly for him then. That baneling, oh, that cancellation on that baneling was so close. That would have been the entire game difference, maybe. But now, it's not gonna happen. Solar finds a way. Counter-attack and kill. This fire makes a lot of noise, doesn't it? It's kind of a nice sound. Didn't realize we had fire in the StarCraft universe. Most maps are underwater now, so it's nice to have a mix-up. Seen lots of my ladder matches. Ah, yes. Yes, that was me. No. There is zerglings here happening. I'll go into that for a moment later. It's another Kozan, basically. Hit him up, boys. Hit him up. Clump up. Stick together. Huddle now, huddle now. Hut, 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 hut. Here we go, here we go. Come on now. That's the zerglings, they're coming. Reinforcements. What are the losses? Solid. Pretty solid. Pretty darn solid. Yeah, so the Kozan that plays a little ladder probably is the one you're referring to, a GM Kozan on the US ladder. He's better at StarCraft than I am. By quite the extent. But he must be a lovely guy, right? His name is Kozan after all. Must be. Gets an Overlord too. Alright. Rogue off to a fairly decent start. I think I know why Solar's trying to make this go a little bit quicker overall. He does have another match at 11. Luckily for him, that is a match I'm going to be casting, and his opponent is going to be Bjorn, which is also a participant in this overall series. So, well, if we're late, we're all going to be late together. Or at least 2 out of 3 will be late together. Solar versus... Well, what matches are we getting on this channel, actually, later down the line? We get Solar versus Classic and Rogue versus Classic as well. Yup. That will be for some Drunk Canadians channel. Okay. Huh. I think this is the first time we've seen Solar be the one getting the quicker lair. Third base for him is going to be late because of that, of course. Rogue sees the timing of this third base, which should give him a little bit of a heads up about what's going on here. Nothing too kosher, that's for sure. And decides to send a flock of lynx over to that hatchery. Will force the response out of Solar, kind of revealing his hand here, or, you know, forcing a cancellation. You can get out of here, right? Yeah, okay, there is another pathway. I saw those rocks and I was like, wait, did he just get himself stuck? Floodgates are opening. Right now, we want both of these players just to be making roaches and zerglings. Nothing else, nothing more, otherwise one of them might just die. And right now, it's looking very likely that that person is going to be solo. Look at that surround with those lynx. That is absolutely beautiful. Pretty much every single roach getting fully surrounded by zerglings. And that is a very, very quick way to lose a game in a roach v zergling.